is Sunday, July 4th, 2021. And here's the first balcony garden update for July 2021. Here's the cherry tomato plant, the one that I bought at the store this year. As you can see, it's growing lots of tomatoes. I even picked a bunch off, and there's still lots more growing. We'll compare that to the cherry tomato plant that was grown from seed. And this plant's got some good height to it. And as you can see, it's got one tomato on it, which is still green. And that's about it. So it's not as successful as the ones that were planted in the ground. So now we're going to venture over to my sister's place, have a look at the cherry tomato plants that are in the ground, and the other plants that are there. Okay, so this is one cherry tomato plant here. You can see the flowers here on it. You can see tomatoes here on it. And you can see it's getting quite tall. And there's more flowers near the top. So this one is an absolute success. Second cherry tomato plant grown from seed is over here. You can see the holes in the leaves. And this is from, I guess, just some hungry insects, bugs, whatnot. And this one is also flowering. You see the buds. I don't really see a tomato on this one yet. Maybe another week or two. Budding up here. It's budding up here. You can see how thick the actual plant is. So this one is also a success. And here's a third cherry tomato plant that was grown from seed. You can see again, they got pretty good thick stems on them. You can see all the budding and flowers on it, which means this should have tomatoes on it in no time as well. This one's also budding away up here. Now if I back up a little bit, you can see how tall it has grown. And that is from one cherry tomato, believe it or not. And here's the watermelon plant. This one might be a little close to the fence, now that I think about it. It does have budding all over it. You can see budding there. Well, this is not good that it's budding all the way up here by the fence. It's hard to grow a watermelon in the air like that. It has buds all over it, so we'll keep an eye on that plant too. Now, these are the experimental red pepper plants that were grown from the seeds from the red pepper. This one's getting kind of tall over here. I'm not sure if that's starting to bud a little bit there. Looks like it might be. We'll keep an eye on these. I might have to spread them out. Now, these are the red pepper plants on the other side. You can see it's kind of funny because the tomato plant is kind of growing over them, and the other tomato plant on the other side is growing over them. It didn't give it enough space here, apparently. The one at the back here is getting tall too, so I might have to think about moving these as well. Over here we have a hot pepper plant. As you can see, this zucchini plant here has grown like absolutely crazy. I mean, I know they grow big, but this one has grown like massive big. So it's almost like covering this plant. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to move this plant over so it has more space. I would normally recommend moving plants that are in the ground, but again, these videos are experimental and showing kind of, how much space you do need for some of these plants. And it's still always a learning experience. So I just wanted to show here, I've made a big circle around the plant so I don't disturb or puncture the roots. Okay, so I've now transplanted this pepper plant. You can see it does have buds all over it. Let's see the buds, the budding, yep. There we go. So it should hopefully get some peppers from this soon. Pepper plants need a lot of sunlight. It'll now get a lot of direct sunlight here. That's kind of in an area with some onions here. Once the onions get pulled out, it'll have more space. And over here, it appears we have a visitor. Okay, so two of the pepper plants, one that was having a little bit of difficulty standing there, and the smallest one that was hidden behind the tomato plants. So I've moved them over here to an open space, so hopefully they'll have a better chance here. Now again, I don't recommend moving plants unless you absolutely have to, but when you do move them, you got to give them a little bit of water afterwards. Okay. So let's have a look here at this very successful pepper plant. This one's still kind of funny. It's like a J or a candy cane shape. I've already picked some peppers off this plant here. And as you can see, there's lots more growing. And you can see that it's flowering, which means it should get even more peppers. This plant has been an absolute success. This pepper plant here, one pepper on it and one bud here. So it hasn't given quite the production that I was anticipating. Likewise with this plant over here. All I got was this one big pepper on the Hungarian pepper plant. And the rest of those buds turned into nothing. Strawberry season seems to be just about over as we go from June into July. The strawberry plant has been a great disappointment this year. It did not give lots of strawberries like last year. And although there are some on it, there's not that many. And then over here, this was last year's strawberry plant and it didn't do anything except give a bunch of green leaves. So, oh well, it is what it is. As you can see, it's still got lots of onions here. And one of the onions, look at this, sprouted. You can probably replant these seeds and get more onions from them. It's quite interesting. And I've picked lots of onions and there's still lots growing, so onions have also been a success this summer. Well, the garlic plants are just going to have to leave them there. You can see some of the greens have turned brown. I have to pull those off. A lot of them have picked and used them. And over here, this was the lemon plant. It just keeps getting a little bit taller, but it's just a bunch of leaves, hasn't done anything else, so there we go. Okay, so let's recap this week. You can see most of the tomato plants are a great success. Just about everything that's planted seems to be growing nicely. We moved a couple of pepper plants that didn't seem to be in the right spots, weren't growing properly. So we'll see if that helps or doesn't work. I'll need a couple of weeks to check on that for progress. The one hot pepper plant that's got some buds on it, that kind of got overtaken by a zucchini plant, that should get more sunlight now, so hopefully that one will survive. You've got to see a bee pollinating some of the tomato plants, which is kind of neat. And that's it for this week. So I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Enjoy your summer. I'll see you next week.